results. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that I learned along the way. I did really crappy my first year, although someone said I did great because I included 194 people. However, I only had about 25% close rate. I think we're talking about checking that sale, right? And so I looked at my meetings and went, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? First of all, I wasn't doing three-way calls. That was a big part of it. And then I got the plane and flew around the country and met with Brent, Gene, everybody that's cute. And I said, what am I doing wrong? And they all did the same thing, which is the three-way calls. But there was still something missing when I was talking to people. So here's what I've learned. Is I never, ever, ever use the word recruit when I'm talking to an agent. Now, depending on who I'm talking to, if I'm talking to a typical agent, I never do it, and I never use the word rev share. I use introduce, and I use referral, because as soon as you use the word recruit to an average agent that makes 60 grand a year, they're gone immediately, right? So here's my line. Right? It's out there. You've probably heard it before. If you introduce 2 people a year to the company over the next 3 years, and those 6 people all introduce just one, that's up to $36,000 a year in referral fees. Can you do that? Everybody says yes. They never do it, by the way, but they all say yes. Never scares me. As soon as I made that switch, I went from 25% to 90%. So it's huge, because the challenge with everybody in our model, not everybody, not the people who know what they're doing, is everybody is leading with, hey, you know, join the XP, you can make $100 grand a year by recruiting agents. They're gone. Right? They always lead with, if I could show you a way to sell more homes, that be something we can talk about. Because that's what agents want to do. They want to sell homes. Right? They'll get to the recruiting. Now, if I'm talking to someone else in our discovery call, which is lots of questions, and if I find out they're an entrepreneur, the conversation goes completely different. Now I'm talking about recruiting and revenue. So you have to know who you are. So the reason why the three-way calls are so important is because I've done 1,000 of them. They've probably done 1,000. Close to it, right? We've done so many of them that we know what to say, we know where the line is going. We know when someone says this, it's going to trigger this in my brain. Probably I can't recite it, you change every time. It's the same idea. And it's going to bring me to this point, which will bring me to this point, to this point, to this point, and they join. But if I don't ask the right questions and I don't do that, I can't get there. Where I have to find out what part of the EXP fits. I'll give you an example. Howard first. By the way, this is how important one person can change your life. Howard in here? So Howard, when I met Howard, I won't say he was making lots of money, but when I met him, he was making $300 a month in revenue. It's not that I'm this big guy, it's just that because he met me, he now made 5 figures for the last 6 years. He did one person, right? Changed his life dramatically. I have same thing, Dennis DeSouza and P. Middleton. Dennis is 1,750 and my 2,200. I didn't do this by myself, right? So one person can change your life. So the other part I'll say is, don't be afraid. Right? The word, don't be attached to the outcome. 90% of people are going to say, hell no. Don't care about that. Really quick story. So I'm known as the godfather of internet lead converters. They wanted to name me the grandfather, but I am a grandfather. They didn't want me to be the grandfather guy. So godfather sounds like Mitchie Gridiakos. But so I was the first person doing forced registration on the internet. And people were calling me and saying, I can't believe people register on the website. They're like, nobody's going to like you. And I go, well, 50% are registered. They're like, what about the other 85%? I said, well, F them. I don't care. Yeah. Right? It's the same thing with agent attractions. Agent attractions and selling homes is exactly the same thing. Right? They're going to join with the person. They have to be in front of them when they think about buying or selling it when you're not there. Right? If you're not in front of them, you're not there. So my point with that is if you consistently build relationships, consistently stay in front of people, and worry about that 10% that have a little cake in the hammer, you'll do great. Wait. I need louder than that, because I got to be handing something. How much time do we have left? We got 14 minutes. Okay, Q&A. Let's talk about things that are actually on your mind versus what's on our mind.
You have 30 minutes.
We have 29 minutes.
29.
We're still 3?
29.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any
Don't cut
questions?
us off. We need all of it.
Does anybody have any questions? Yep, go ahead and then we'll go over here. So the question was, once you've exhausted your warm prospects, where do you go to find more people?
I got a great. So I interviewed a top recruiter in our area recently, and she worked for Keller Bank, averaged 10 to 15 new recruits to Keller Bank. said, I want your script. My friend, I want your script. She goes, I don't have it. Okay, so everybody's always asking for the script, right? I go, well, tell me how you did 10 to 15 people consistently for 5 years, right? 10 to 15 people. She goes, open houses. She goes, I go to every broker open house, and I go to every, and on the weekends, all I do is go to open house. And I start new relationships. So how do you start with people? You create new relationships.
Yep. That's a good answer.
By the way, I have a great open house webinar on my YouTube channel. They say, look, my friend Mitch has this phenomenal open house. You should learn how to do it. He sold 25, 30 homes every single year when he sold it full time. Doing that process. Aaron?
Yeah, so I know Mitch, owned the company, ran a team. I'm in a situation, and I want to know your guys' biggest challenge when you made the switch to put all our production right for someone else to do things. And I finally made a commitment after 4 years, like, okay, let's work my revenue share, let's do the agent attraction, let's find some systems that consistently work, and be consistent at it myself. I'm struggling with it, I'm getting there. But what was the biggest challenge that you guys had when you finally made that move? What did it take for you to go, okay, fuck production, and let's stick with agent attraction? What was that?
Yeah, good question.
Was there a light bulb that went out, or was it just light bulb?
I mean, for me, I've always been really good at switch costs. So once you make the pain of not doing something greater than the pain of doing it, you really realize what's at stake by not doing it. My son, when he had open hearts or dragged to go to work some days, when he was in the ICU, and I made about 13 years ago that at some point when my family got punched in the jaw again, I wouldn't have to go to work. So for last year, last year my father-in-law in hospice, I didn't have to worry about money, I didn't have to worry about time. So when I looked at following my schedule and doing what I needed to do, I remembered what it was like having to go to work when my son was in the ICU, and I said, never again will I be in a spot where I have to do things like that. So really, Rich was talking about mindset. If you have the right mindset and you know switch costs, how do you make the pain of not doing something greater than the pain of doing it? Can you give me 30 seconds quick? What's it costing you? How much do you think you can make in revenue share? What do you believe you can make? $100,000 a month. And based on everything that you said, there's plenty of people that I know that are doing it. So at $100,000 a month, that's $1.2 million a year. How many hours a week do you think you'd have to spend on a consistent basis in order to do that?
10.
So let's make math easy. 10 times 50 is what? 500. 500. What's 1.2 million divided by 500? I can only do 24 what? 2,400 hours. So here's what you do. You get $2,400, and every time you choose not to do your hour for that day, you literally go.
Give it to Mitch.
And you burn it in front of someone who's less privileged. How many of us, think about this, how many of us are very privileged in this room? Very much so. You have an opportunity to spend 10 hours a week and make upwards of $100,000 a month ongoing for work that you've already done, yet some of you are pissing away this opportunity because you're so privileged that it's not a big deal to you. So take the money and go in front of someone who doesn't have the same opportunity and say, you know what, I could spend 10 hours a week for the next 5 years, and the likelihood of me never having to work again is there, but I'm so privileged I can just burn this money in front of you.
Good one.
Make the pain of not doing something greater than what you do.
So anybody here in this room, if you could go to like a country club prison, like Goodfellas, where they cut the garlic with razor blades, for 7 months to never work again, would you do it? Anybody? Is anybody extreme? For 7 months. Like a nice, safe prison. You can wear your own clothes. Anybody? Okay, hold on. Keep hands up. Really do it, honestly.
That sounds like a break to me. I got 5 kids.
You're in the first 5 years of kids. You'll go there for free. Okay, all right. So from 0 to 7 months, I had no attraction skills. Never done it before. My upline had all just gotten here like 2 days before I did. We're all kind of sitting in the canoe in the middle of the ocean going, okay. From 0 to 7 months, I was at $15,900 a month in revenue share, which I've never ever been less than that, right? I make $2,400 now. I'm your example. I have 2,400 agents. I made $1 million last year in revenue share. I work about 10 intense hours a week. months, if you can impact several generations of income at a country club prison, many of you guys were willing to say yes, right? But what I was able to do was I got there in my mind, but then I went home and had dinner with my wife, and I watched my kids play around, and we had bath time, and I occasionally went away for a weekend, and I saw my parents, and I ran around my neighborhood, and then I went back to work in my air-conditioned truck and went to my office, and then I made a few more phone calls. And remember, guys, we're in sales, so I am fundamentally aware that I have to meet new people and know how to put myself out there. I think we all know that, right? We're in sales, okay? So that seemed a lot better to me than going to a country club prison, because I could sleep home. I laid in bed with my wife every night while I was in this jail. And then after 7 months, I got out, and then the avalanche started. And all I had to do was develop myself so I could be a good example, and then to develop other people on places where they had blind spots, and I could easily see that. Not because I'm better than them, but it's easier to see your blind spots than it is to see my own, which is the way that it is. Except in my position, everybody seems to tell me what they are, so I'm not aware of them, okay? So all you have to do is give everything you have toward one thing, and people are going to follow that. Anybody like following a nervous leader? Anybody like following someone who's an expert at picking out all the things that suck in life? Right? Anybody like following people that have done a spiritual bypass? They know everything, they do nothing, right? The way that you show up in your life, physically, emotionally, professionally, the way that your character is when it's tested, how you are in the bad moments, everybody's watching. And trust me, you don't have to be Jordan Peterson to figure out where things are messy. You're late 5 minutes to see me, that means that you're late buying your wife a Mother's Day card, that means you're late here, that means you're late to the gym membership, you're going to Planet Fitness's $10 a month that are making it right. It shows up everywhere. So where in the world are you going to sit back, like Hank was saying, and say, is this the kind of person I'm supposed to be? Or am I just going to settle on this? Am I going to build a life around my philosophy? Or am I going to build a philosophy around my laziness? So what I would say is go into a narrow fucking hole and call agents and learn how to talk about this. And don't sell them hard and build residual income. And not only will you make yourself a millionaire, but you might actually make 7 or 8 other people millionaires. And that's something that no brokerage that I've ever met, I've been doing this for a long time, has ever been accused of doing. Oh, I hate that company. Rich Tomasini Associates keeps making millionaires.
Hey, Rich, what's your shirt stand for?
3777. Anybody think this is my birthday? I know, with the white hair, nobody thinks that's my birthday. So, anybody know what the Realtor retirement plan is? Raise your hand. Yeah. Anyone been to a Realtor retirement party? Anybody? Okay, so I guess it's right. Okay, all right. So what's the size of the grave?